All right, this is the second part of today's lesson on July the 9th for ELT 115 section 1. This is the second part, okay? So for this lesson, before going on reading aloud the fairy tale, I would like to share with you an exercise which is quite simple. It is in a website. So as you can see here, there are several words that are classified into different columns according to the voicing. Here in the first column, we have the words coughs, attacks, stops, blasts, unearths, with a s, right, voiceless or unvoiced ending. In the second column, we have grabs, broods, stings, fails, comes, earns, and things. And before we have roars, goes, breathes, and loves, all of them ending in voiced consonant sounds. And in the last column, we have chances, watches, judges, chooses, wishes, misses, and fixes, all of them ending in a sibilant sound. So before going into the reading aloud activity, I would like you to go through this exercise on your own. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so you can see all of the exercises, and I want you to classify them into endings, okay, as endings. If they're going to be voiceless, voiced, or an extra syllable is. So first, take a moment to do this exercise, please. All right, assuming that you already finished the exercise, let's take a look at your answers. So the first one is mixes, right? Mixes. The second one is males, males. Number 3 is approaches, approaches. Number 4 is woes, woes, right? Number 5 is forgets, forgets. Number 6 is remembers, remembers, right? Number 7 is kisses, kisses. Number 8 is polishes, polishes. Number 9 is gloves, gloves. Number 10 is boxes, boxes. Number 11 is expects, expects. Number 12 is promises, promises. Number 13 is burns, burns. Number 14 is copies, copies. Number 15 is suggests, suggests. 16 is threatens, threatens. Number 17 is apologizes, apologizes. 18 is acknowledges, acknowledges. 19 is expresses, expresses. Number 20 is brushes, brushes. 21 absorbs, absorbs. 22 reminds, reminds. 23 speaks, speaks. 24 refuses, refuses. 25 orders, orders. 26 snoops, snoops. 27 weeds, weeds. 28 laughs, laughs. 29 brings, brings. And 30 truths, truths. Okay, that's the first exercise about classifying as ending. Now let's go to this fairy tale. which is called Cone Legend Stories for Kids. And I have this here in a website called tophonetics.com. Okay, it's a very interesting website because you copy and paste the text, and then you can click play.
This legend is from the land of Mali over 1,000 years ago. It takes place at a village called Sagut, where an old woman named Kone lived in a hut with her. This legend is from the land. This legend is from the land of Mali over 1,000 years ago. It take This legend is from the land of Mali over 1,000 years ago. It takes place at a village called Sagut, where an old woman named Kone lived in a hut with her granddaughter at the outskirts of town. As the story begins, villagers who for years.
So as you can see here in this website, you can copy and paste. You get the line in English, plain English, and also you get the phonetic transcription. Okay, so this is something that is useful. And here you can change the speed of the voice. Okay, so let's take a look at the pronunciation of this. We get, this legend is from the land of Mali over 1,000 years ago. So if you could repeat after me, please. It takes place at a village called Segu, where an old woman named Kone lived in a hut with her granddaughter at the outskirts of town. As the story begins, villagers who for years had brought food and gifts to Kone and the girl who helped them get by no longer took the time to visit. They had become busy with their own lives and no longer thought about Cone. But Cone thought about them all the time. Without the help from the villagers, Cone became bitter and her heart turned stone cold. If she had to suffer and could no longer live in dignity, then all the people of the village would suffer too. Little did the people of Segu realize that Cone had the power of summon magic. One day at sunrise, Cone stretched her arms to the rising sun and called, "Let them all learn what it means to be hungry. No more rain shall fall on the village of Segu. The crops shall wither in the fields, and let them all learn the meaning of fear." At that moment a ghost-like image of a buffalo appeared and pawed the ground. The old woman had in fact created a double of herself. She was the buffalo even as she continued to live with her granddaughter in their hut. And as the buffalo she roamed in the forest, attacking and killing hunters. Indeed, the people of Segu began to know hunger. A few weeks without rain stretched into 2 months. The crops shriveled in the fields. Worse, hunters who'd ventured into the forest in pursuit of game were never seen again. A few hunters who had escaped told about a huge, ferocious buffalo that couldn't be killed. Arrows simply bounced off its thick hide. Without a drought in the fields and a master in the woods, the people became desperate. They clamored to their chief, and the chief of Segu sent a call for help to all neighboring kingdoms. In a far-off village lived two brothers, Kirama and his younger brother Kijin. They heard the plea for help and decided to go. My sons, beware, said their father. This is no ordinary trouble. The crop of tsugu has dried for the lack of rain, but our village and all other villages around Tsugu have had plenty of rain. There's a monster in the forest at Tsugu that's killing hunters, but no such monster threatens hunters in forests anywhere else. Mark my words, my sons. Tsugu is under some kind of enchantment or curse. If you go, you must first visit the wise man Sambo. He has magical powers and will help you. The brothers went to see Sambo. The wise man brought out his divining tray, put sand in it, moved the sand about with his fingers, and read its meaning. He spoke, "This is a dangerous mission. The buffalo can be defeated, but not by regular arrows, traps, or heroics. Your mission will be successful only if you show consideration and respect to others. If you succeed, the people of the village will offer you a girl as a reward. She may be poor and plain looking, but bring her to me. In this way you will repay me for divining for you." So Karama and Kenkijan thanked the wise man Sambo and traveled to the village of Sigu. On the outskirts of the village, they passed a very old woman lifting firewood. "Grandmother," said Karama, "let us help you." The old woman was Kone. With her magical powers, she knew that the two young men had come to kill the buffalo. "Don't trouble yourselves," she said. "I can manage." "Of course you can," said Kangjan, not wishing to offend her. "But we're headed the same way you are headed, and it's no trouble for us to carry things. Besides, it's not right that a woman of your years should have to work so hard. We'll take 2 loads since there's 2 of us." "I don't have time to talk," she said, gathering an armful of wood and heading to her hut. "Some of us have to work." The brothers each hoisted a load of wood and followed her to her hut. They set down their loads outside her door. "I didn't ask you to bring that," she snapped. "I'm sure you have better things to do." "Grandmother, there's nothing else we'd rather do," said Karama, and they went on their way. Okay, so this is an interesting fairy tale. It's a legend story. And what I want you to do is I want you to choose your own story. You can Google storytelling, stories, legends. And the idea is that you choose at least 2 different stories and that you copy and paste, right, the stories here. You cannot probably going to do this as you checked here. I copied and pasted some section here, the other one in the other different page, then a different page here. So what's the point? The point is that you can listen to this. Okay, I'm trying to hit here the play button, but it's not working. But you already heard this here. And besides listening to the story, you have the phonetic transcription. So if you have a question about pronunciation, like for example, in the word village, you get the phonetic transcription here. Okay, village and village. So what I want you to do now is I want you to choose at least 2 different stories, and I want you to use this to phonetics.com website. I'm going to copy and paste the website in the chat so you can have access to it. There it is. So choose your own legend or story and read it aloud. Use the website tphonetics.com that it's in the chat so that you can have a backup plan in case you don't know the pronunciation of a word. You at least have an idea about how to pronounce, like in the same case here, dignity, dignity. Okay, so for this exercise, you're going to take some time on your own because you need to select the two fairy tales. You need to copy and paste them in the website that I told you about, and then you need to prepare it. All right. Next session, hopefully, if you come back from strike, we could get take a close look at the pronunciation of some words. All right. So that will be all for the second part. Goodbye, everyone.